Welcome to all sins and commandments alike. This is Griever, your guys' host as always, bringing you guys the latest episode review of Wrath of the Gods. Okay, let's talk for a minute here, because did I just see a decent episode? Did I just see passable animation? Did I just see a good opening? An opening that actually had animation in it? No. This can't be Season 3 of Taizai. This cannot be Wrath of the Gods. This cannot be halfway through the season. They couldn't have dropped such a, okay, we're just going to start off with the next part of the next, rest of the episode stuff. There's no way that they would take key moments like the Escanor versus Meliodas fight in especially episode 12 half, right? And do that abysmalness, do that insanely terribleness to it. And then for an episode like this, which, don't get me wrong, I love Chandler and Cusack. If you guys are anime-only viewers, I think you guys are in for a bit of a treat if you're still here after the abysmalness of this episode, or not this episode, but this season of Taizai. But if you continue to watch and you have not read the manga, I urge you to do so, because Chandler and Cusack, muy bien. They are just, their designs are cool, their characterization is cool, their powers are off the charts. What happens after this, we're not going to talk about. But I might talk a little bit about this at the very end, and I'll warn everyone, spoilers for the manga ahead, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, this episode was, it was my first time seeing the new opening. I don't believe that was in the last episode, was it? Episode 13. Is this the new opening for it? Because this was really, really good. Well, alright. See, that's the problem. I think I'm overpraising it, because it's actually good. It's not great. See, that's the problem now. It's such a difficult thing. I complained about this last episode, and I complained about it before, is that how do we determine as fans, after seeing such shit, let's call a spade, how do we as fans determine when we actually see something that isn't shit? I think I'm overpraising it, but how far do I go? Was this good? I mean, there were some animation flaws, some bad stills, but overall, everything seemed pretty good. I don't know. The opening wasn't phenomenal, but it was actually animated for a change. It wasn't just a bunch of stills moving in motion in high def. I thought it was definitely way better than the old one, and it was pretty well animated for the most part. Then this episode itself, passable. It didn't bother me. There was no moment that really bothered me anywhere that I can distinctly remember. And everything seemed to be pretty good. I don't know. See, that's the thing. It was told to me, it was mentioned to me in my chapter review that maybe I'm being too harsh in both my manga chapter reviews of Taizai right now and in my episode reviews, because I'm so disappointed with both of them for different reasons that right now I just have a bit of a the comment didn't say this, but let's call it spade a spade once again. I right now have a bit of a hate boner for Taizai. I don't think I do. I think I'm being fair. I think I'm only passionate about being disappointed and angry and etc. because I still like this series and want it to be better than it is. I don't know. I thought this episode was pretty good. That's all I'm trying to say, because it was a transition episode into the new arc of the manga. It was kind of like the end of the Ten Commandments arc, and that's what Zeldris was kind of doing at the beginning of the episode. He goes through and he realizes, okay, he does basically a countdown, of the Ten Commandments. It's like Esteros is comatose. He woke up this episode. Galland is defeated. Melisukla is defeated. Grey Road's defeated. Derriere and Monspeet, we see a little thing with them, and that was kind of nice, because I always liked them, Derriere and Monspeet. Always liked their characters, more so Monspeet. But they're basically chilling, being like, we're kind of done with the war. They kind of understand. This, once again, in the manga and the anime, I don't fully understand, why their reasoning for all of a sudden leaving doesn't make a whole lot of sense. it comes out of the blue. If this was going to happen, we already saw the Holy War in this season too. We saw the Holy War thing. We saw that Elizabeth and Meliodas actually saved them. So why at the beginning, 3,000 years later, did they come back, start fighting, start hating everyone, and then after getting defeated a second time, they had a change of heart? It doesn't make sense. And their reasoning, even in this episode, was that when they went in Dora 3,000 years ago, they were the ones who saved us. Where was your gratitude literally at the beginning? Like, it just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Back in, like, season 2, where was your gratitude then? So, and this isn't an anime problem. This is a manga problem as well. Their reasoning is a little flawed, but whatever. So Zelda's still going through the countdown. Gloxinia and Droll, they basically respond being like, nah, we're good. Like, we regret what we did after talking to King and Deanne and having them go through the same thing. We realized we were wrong, so we're not on the Ten Commandments thing. Bye. Here's our 2-week notice. And he's like, here's your 1-minute notice. Bam. And Zelda just takes away their commandment powers. Their eyes go back to normal. Okay. So then Zelda's just kind of like, fine, I'll do all the work of all the friggin', every single Ten Commandment. I am more than enough. And then we see the introduction of Cusack and Chandler, respectively. Once again, I don't really mind Cusack's colorization, but I'm very, very disappointed. Even though I kind of like the green, I'm disappointed because I really wanted Chandler to have the old man white hair. Like, I've seen colorizations with him already, and the white hair sells it. Don't change a single color. Give him white hair, and actually give the green hair to Cusack. Way better. I've already seen some fan art of people doing that. Not so much with the green hair on Cusack, but I've seen people do the white hair on Chandler, and it worked so much better. You don't, just because you're anime, you don't need to be funky colors. Look at Meliodas. Look at Zeldris. Blonde and, seriously, Escanor, brown hair. Merlin, black hair, which apparently doesn't really exist, but whatever. Sure, whatever. But Meliodas is blonde, and you have Zeldris, once again, black hair and stuff. Like, you don't need to always have, like, the blues and the greens and the pinks and the crazy fire red colors to have an anime. You can have, I'm not saying that that's bad, I don't mind when it happens, but King and Deanne, same idea. These characters have natural hair colors as well, so it would be nice, like, Chandler just makes sense to me, and they keep calling him, like, Oji and stuff like that, old man. How does Chandler look apparently so old without the white hair? Like, really, like, he's not exactly Yamamoto or somebody like that, from Bleach. He doesn't look old as the hills and twice as dusty. He looks kind of timeless, I guess is the right word. Like, he doesn't strike me as why everyone's calling him that old man. Shouldn't they say that person? Like, like, he doesn't really seem like, he doesn't seem like a young person, but he seems more middle-aged with the color scheme. That's all. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, point is, their characters are great. The manga adaptation did a little better, their scenes and stuff, and once again, that's the animation side, but Chandler and Cusack, the masters of Zeldris and Meliodas, the ones who taught them to fight, the ones who served them as their retainers, so to speak, and, they're pretty badass, and Chandler's character is funny, I like him, he's really cool, and pretty much Zeldris lays it down and says, here's the deal, we gotta go get Meliodas. Cusack, of course, being Zeldris's retainer, it's kind of like, you can be the Demon King, why Meliodas? And Chandler's just like, I get to go get the Master? I get to go get Meliodas? Woohoo! Boom, gone. And he goes to go fight the 7 Deadly Sins. And we don't see the conclusion of this fight yet. What we do see is Chandler shows up, brings nighttime with him, so Escanor goes back to nighttime form. He literally warped the time of day as far as I'm concerned. Some people have been saying that back then it was called the Black Night spell, but we could see he was almost bringing nighttime with him in the manga. He brought along the nighttime, so he changed the hour of the day, and we see the moon and things like that. Like, he literally, within a set area, an area of effect, he actually changes the time of day as far as I'm concerned. That being said, there is a limit to this dome spell. It's basically a big circle. It's a dome, but it's still within that space. He has actually changed it to nighttime, even though it's daytime. He hasn't like blocked out the sun or something. He doesn't know about Escanor. He doesn't know any of this stuff. He just brings the night, as he puts it in this episode even, and in the manga. Nighttime, demons are stronger. Accept it, move on. And I'm like, okay. So he shows up, pops Perfect Cube like it's nothing. He's like, I'm going to take Meliodas. I'm going to kill Elizabeth. Merlin's like, I will do this. And he's like, no, you won't. And like, bitch slaps Merlin and the Perfect Cube like they're nothing. Merlin is now in chibi form. What the hell? And, well, we know in the manga why. And he's like, oh, you're Belial's daughter. Meh. Oh, you're Gother. No, wait, you're the doll. Meh. And all this stuff, right? Oh, before I forget. Got to talk about this. So, Deanne gets a pendant. Right? Which she's like, oh, and this could be a translation thing. I don't know. I read it in subs, right? But it's like, oh, is it wings? It's the crushed helmet that housed Helbram's spirit that you murdered. Like, but then they talk about Helbram. So at first I'm thinking that Deanne doesn't actually remember what she's done. That's kind of a flimsy thing. That's a gray area. She doesn't remember what she did when she was all rage. And I mean, okay, I could buy that, but then they start talking about Helbram as though she's supposed to acknowledge it. She's like, yeah, maybe he thinks of us because it doesn't even mention Helbram by name. King doesn't. And then Deanne seems to know what he's talking about. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll treasure this. It's like, you're the reason he's like dead again. Like King killed him again. Like Helbram died way too many times. I think the idea of him having that spirit again was a bad idea anyways. This is Nakaba's way of getting this out. And trust me, if you're caught up with the manga, you know that Nakaba basically wants get out of jail free cards with inconsistency and retcon. But in this case, Deanne, if she doesn't remember crushing it, this is, I mean, okay, but then she shouldn't get all the Helbram references without Helbram's name. And if she does remember, then why is she so blasé like, oh, I don't really know what this is? You should absolutely know what it is. It's how you butchered his best friend for the 3rd time. Like, 3 deaths, like Deanne's character. Oh my god, I hate Deanne's character. I hate her so much. It's just, anyways. So before I forgot about that little Deanne thing that pissed me off, I forget if it happened in the manga. I think it did. If it did, I hated it then. I hate it now. Oh, it's just bad. Anyways, so fact of the matter is, here at the end of the episode, Chan is just like, okay, so now that I bitch flat Merlin, Escanor's not awake. Merlin tries to wake up Escanor and stuff, even though he's of course hurt. Stuff from his battle with Meliodas. Meliodas stirs. Nobody knows what's going on. He's like microscopic to Deanne. Deanne's like, what? And then he's like, let's have fireworks to bring back Meliodas. And like a celebration. And this is meteors. He's bringing down a meteor shower. And I'm not talking like the pretty ones that's like, oh, it's the size of this. No, these things are like the size of Mama Hawk, or at the very least, Deanne's size. These are big, boulder-ass meteors crashing down, creating craters, and he just casually, bing, boom, 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 bombards this area. This area is toast. Once again, the power scaling thing, that's a manga problem that we'll talk about maybe here at the end. But that right here, pretty well done for the anime. And I'm sitting here like, did they save all their budget now to do the Chandler stuff right? Like the Chandler and Cusack? Like, did they not give a crap about like the first 12 episodes, but they are going to care about the next 12? Once again, the inconsistency here with where they decided to put their budget and their time and their effort is so inconsistent that I just don't know. I don't know, because this episode, if this was poorly animated, but the Escanor and Meliodas fight had been given way more time and effort, I mean, we would have been like, yeah, okay, the animation's bad, but we expect that by now. But we would have been praising the Escanor-Meliodas fight. So I don't understand the reasoning here. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe this was around the Christmas holiday and they had more time. I don't know when they made this. But, yeah, so either way, this was a pretty good episode overall. At the end, King and Gother decide to do a combination technique. It's Chastity Fold, True Spirit Spear, with, of course, the twin Harlot Bow of Gother in a combination technique, and that's where the episode ends. So we don't see what the Chandler's damage or what's going to happen here. The fight's going to continue into the next episode, episode 15. Yeah, so for anybody who is anime only, this is where you hit like, you hit subscribe, you comment down below, and you leave the video, because we are going to talk now about something that kind of bothers me just a little bit here. Are you ready? Spoilers for the manga. 3, 2, 1. Chandler and Cusack were great goddamn villains with not enough time and proper development, and the whole Sinner thing was fine, and my goddamn god, why the Demon King? The Demon King, I could have forgotten about the Demon King. Why didn't they make the Sinner the main thing like here? Like, Jesus. Chandler and Cusack could have had their own, like, their whole arcs plus side stories given to us about just Chandler and Cusack. Forget all the crap that they're talking about right now in the manga, but, like, let's focus on them. Let's make the Sinner the guy to defeat. Remember, the Sinner's supposed to be half of the Demon King. He's basically supposed to be Demon King. The Demon King in Purgatory, like the Demon King we know, and the Sinner Demon are supposed to be basically even. Because remember, the Sinner is half of the Demon King's original power. Like, take the Ten Commandments. So, once again, in the manga, the idea was if the Sinner maybe stole back those 10 from Meliodas or something like that, or when the cocoon broke out or something, then he would be on par with the Demon King once again. Right now, in this form, no, he's not. I understand that, but I always thought it'd be cool if he was hiding after that Mile Blast that he took. He's like, nah, he's not really dead. He's waiting to steal the Ten Commandments for himself so he can once again rise up to defeat the Demon King. You know, with the Demon King in Purgatory, he could take over the Demon Realm. Maybe that would be his goal. Like, there was so much potential for Chandler and for Cusack. And there was potential for them as the Sinner Demon. 3 villains shafted completely. And I love... Guys, like, if you guys just watched this anime episode, maybe this made you remind you that Chandler was fun. His reactions were fun. He was a fun villain because he was a little crazy, he was a little kooky, he was quirky, but he was also terrifyingly deadly and could look like a badass. Cusack was refined, but also a little, like, overprotective. He was badass, but he was suave. They actually had depth. They were characters, and I liked them. And this episode just reminded me what a missed opportunity using Chandler and Cusack as the main antagonists, especially when we found out about the Sinner thing. Sinner should have been the main villain. We should still be in Sinner versus the 7 Deadly Sins thing right now, but we're not. We're into bullshit. But either way, just wanted to say that little rant here at the end of the episode for you manga only, or, you know, anime and manga watchers, whatever you want to call it. Either way, yeah, I'm just, this episode reminded me of when Taizai was good, and the potential for these characters was great because their introduction was boom, hit the ground running, it was fire. I remember some people complaining when this chapter dropped that people were like, wait, where did these two come from? But nobody actually complained about them. Everybody liked Chandler and Cusack, as far as I remember. Some people just didn't like the abruptness of their introduction. But I could forgive that one thing because they were good characters, just with not enough screen time and not enough development. So, anyways, that being said, guys, like, comment, subscribe as always, as I already said before. Don't forget the bell notification. You guys want to know every single time I drop a video. Link for my Discord will be down in the description box down below. Feel free to join. This has been Griever with your episode 14 episode review of Wrath of the Gods, Nanatsu no Taizai, also known as 7 Deadly Sins. I hope the next episode is good as well. Yeah, there's not really, for me personally, I could look forward to some things for the rest of the season, but I'm worried that would bring my hope level up and then it'll be crushed completely, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm still skeptical right now. Thought the episode was good. Let's just move on from there. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, drink responsibly. We'll see you back here next time.